starting with your foot. That's amazing. So if you didn't know, that is the beautiful ankle tattoo of Ashley Esqueda from Techno Buffalo. And I'm Nicole Scott from Mobile Geeks. I haven't been on the stream yet. This is actually my first time in the 2 days.
Oh, my first time too. What a coincidence.
And there hasn't been many women on the stream, so I feel very happy that we're finally representing.
Do you mean to say that there are not a lot of women in technology?
You know, there's even few women tech bloggers in Germany.
I've noticed that there has been a lot of suits of men, but it's been a really good show. Everyone's been so polite. Like at CES, it gets a little weird.
I think she's lying. Earlier, she said that she had some rage against some 16-year-old German boys.
Okay, no, they're not like men in the industry.
Okay.
So I have this problem with this show. I'm not used to being at a show where it's open to the public. So there was this kid who's like 16. Maybe I'm just old, but he's like 28, isn't it? And he just cut right in front of me, like little Skrillex. This head shaved on the side, and he just picked up the Sony Z1 and was just messing around with it. And I'm like, I've been waiting in line for 15 minutes for this. So yeah, not used to the public being out, which is a very new, random thing. So.
Yeah, you Germans should behave better towards pretty ladies at tech shows.
Did not. It was no. You know what though? I can say that I do understand phone tunnel vision, which is you see something that you want to look at, and you literally have no concept of what's happening around you, and you will trample over 100 children to get to whatever it is that you want. Like that, I understand that. I get it.
So did you have a chance to check out the Sony Smartwatch 2 while you were at the Sony booth?
I did not. I have had. So ASUS had their booth really far away from the convention center.
I didn't even think they were here, actually.
I didn't realize that until about 2 o'clock yesterday, and then immediately ran to the train and took it to the box, the cube next to the dome. Is it the Harmony box, I think? Okay. So I didn't get a chance to see that, but I did see and got a good hands-on with the Galaxy Gear. So the Samsung Galaxy Gear. What do you? I'm really curious. This has been a very mixed bag in terms of response to this. Some people are like, "This is great, I love it." Some people are like, I don't care. What do you?
So my thing is, I don't wear a watch.
Yeah.
Right. I use my phone as a watch, and the men with their watch jewelry moment. I can see how men can transition into this maybe a little easier than women.
That makes sense. Right. There's some women out there who do
women,
watch jewelry. I can
jewelry.
See it.
Okay, so for me, okay, I'm looking at the Samsung Galaxy Gear, and I'm looking at the Sony Smartwatch 2, and I'm looking at all of these smartphone manufacturers that are making the watch. And the moment that they are having trouble embracing is the fact that when you have the watch, you're admitting that there's something lacking in your hardware, in your device, in your smartphone.
That's a really interesting point. Whatever I am carrying is not doing enough.
It's not enough. It's not providing all the scenarios that I need for my life. So they're having trouble embracing that moment. They're like, no, we're pairing it. We're Bluetooth. We're all of these apps. We can do all of these things. Look at all this supplementary stuff you can do.
Extra functionality as opposed to making up for deficiency, I see.
So I think that what I want to see in future smartphone or smartwatch devices is some standalone functionality. Because if I'm going to accept the fact that I'm going to have another device that I'm going to carry, it can't just be a supplementary device for this device.
That does make sense. I'm a little bummed that it's, obviously I understand business and that this would be relegated to, only being a companion for Samsung Galaxy products.
Yeah.
I get that, but then on the same note, it's like, well, what then keeps me from instead getting a Pebble? Because then I don't need the camera. I found that very weird, the camera thing.
It's creepy.
So bizarre. And the thing that really confused me was it's like, okay, so you have your watch like this. Well, the camera's pointing out from the side of your wrist. So if you have to lower your hand down to even look at the face so you know what you're seeing, and it's very bizarre.
Pearl is another company who had a smartwatch here, and it was a standalone device.
Okay.
Right? So it had SIM card, you can make phone calls on it, super cool. And they had it on the end here. So you're like this.
Oh, that's very Wonder Woman. It's very superhero of them. And then maybe you can get some gold bracelets, and you just start
It's all kinds of action figures.
Marvel's going to sponsor them. You watch Avengers 2, it's going to be a thing.
But see, so the real problem.
So you can put a SIM card in that. See, that's like that is saying like I am eschewing a regular smartphone. I just want this watch. I just want to be Dick Tracy. There I am. I have nothing else.
I have nothing else.
I get it.
So I think that so Qualcomm I thought was really interesting for their smartwatch because I found out it comes with 4 gigabytes of memory. Okay. And so one of the guys was like, yeah, you can put a couple of songs on there. So if you go to the gym, you can stream to your headset. But then sense. I found out that on the because it's Qualcomm's first. I think they're one of their first runs at hardware ever, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is
so they're not actually going to be putting the onboard music functionality in, but they're building it in for OEMs to be put in later.
Oh, see, that doesn't work. I mean,
but I mean,
here's what I want. Here's what I want. Instead of the camera, I want Wi-Fi access and I want apps.
Yes.
So when I go to the gym, I don't have to bring an iPod.
Exactly.
Which then you would then you would just buy an iPod Nano and get a watch band for it. But the thing is like that's what I really want. It's like I want to be able to connect to the internet and, for example, stream Songza or Rdio or Spotify. Like those are the things that I would do with a watch. Like I don't see the need to. The pictures you're going to take on this thing, it's the same concept as like taking pictures with a tablet, which if you do that, anybody watch, please don't.
Please stop.
It's very upsetting. It's extremely upsetting.
And it blocks my view. I don't want to look at your screen.
I don't want to see that. Well, now see, we're getting into like people having phablets at concerts and like shows, and it's literally like watching them hold up a tablet. And I'm like, oh, honey, no. Like, maybe that's where the Galaxy Gear will be a nice thing. I won't have to look at somebody with their giant Note 3 taking pictures. They'll just hold their hand up. Like, if you're at a Skrillex concert, you have people like fist pumping and they just take pictures. That would be fine. Hey, maybe somebody will develop that. Like, as you fist pump, you take pictures, snap, snap, snap. Like, that could be huge. That could be a big thing.
I think that maybe we should just do it ourselves. I'm sure there's an app that will make that app for us.
I guarantee you I have to have seen something like that in the international tents at some point today.
So I didn't make it over there. What did you see?
There's some really, I mean, I like to kind of look around and find things that maybe not a lot of people are covering. This is why I miss all the big stuff. Like, I always go back to Technical. I'm like, oh, what did I miss at the show? But I went to the international tents, and they have some really neat and weird stuff. Like, they've got, apparently a big thing over there right now is like portable tiny fireplaces.
Oh.
That look real. Like, they're tiny. So they're about, like this big.
And like they have a back, or like they're circular so you can all sit around them? Or like one side?
They are one-sided. It's just like having like a fireplace. Like you put it against your wall and then it looks like it's on fire. And then there's like hot coals. It is really weird. Apparently that's like a really big thing in the international tents because I saw at least 4 booths with these fireplaces, which is very strange. Of course, you have the iPhone's 5C cases already out there, iPhone 5S. They're like, oh, we have the 5C cases, like come see them, which is always so bizarre to sort of see that proliferate before the device has even been announced.
Well, I had Hard Candy send me an iPad 5 case maybe a month ago.
Oh.
Right, and it had like a nice little insert so I could like put it up against the. Well, it actually they got it right on the iPad 4.
Oh, all right.
So I was like,
well,
all right, but it was.
You could trust it.
It was exactly what the rumors were.
Like, there's been a lot. I mean, I have to say, like in recent times, we've seen a lot of leaks, but I think it's less of Apple being more lax about it and more just people knowing how valuable that leak is, like how people just want to get that information out so badly, regardless of whether there's money or transaction involved. It's just like, oh, look at what I got, like I have information. Like people like to feel like they're the inside guy. So yeah, it's been an interesting show. But the international buildings or the tents are like there's been all kinds of crazy stuff. Those fireplaces were good. I also saw a little dock that had like, I don't want to call it a mushroom. It looked like it was from like a Dr. Seuss book. Yeah. It's like a little stick with like a circle on top, and it was like a LED globe. Okay. And then it was also a dock that you put your phone into, and so you could like show your kids a bedtime story or movie or something, and then it would be like a little nightlight. So, like not something everybody would buy, but just things that like I don't really see anywhere else on the show floor. So, is there anything like super weird that you've seen that maybe I missed? Because I want to go see it if that's the case.
No, not really. I mean, like I've been kind of sticking to like more of the mainstream things. The cool, I guess, the most exciting thing that I've seen that isn't on everybody's website is Gola has a new line of travel gear. And I was just looking at my travel stuff, and I was like, God, it's falling apart, and it's so manly, and like I'm here with my backpack, and I'm trying not to be so manly. I mean, we're always in this like tech world where there's all kinds of men.
We already have to be manly enough about it. So
So
maybe just want a nice. All we're asking is for a nice stylish bag.
Nice stylish bag that is, like that's not going to fall apart.
Yeah.
And so like, they actually have a unisex one and a women's one.
I like that.
And they actually styled them differently, so they didn't just like make it pink.
Yeah. See, that always gets me, where it's like, just because it's pink, it doesn't mean I want it.
But the thing is,
weird.
so at least with pink gadgets today, it's not as if we're being like served underpowered or underspec devices.
They're at least the same.
It's
not like it's. Oh man, just having flashbacks.
They're at least
having
the same.
flashbacks that HTC, that the rhyme, the purple rhyme. Oh man, that was a lady phone that didn't work.
That was pretty special, especially like look, there's a light
charm. You can put it in your purse. You can see it. Like let's all put charms in our purse. That's what we're about.
Or even like the pink netbooks that I used to have to review. They're like, please review this pink netbook.
They're like,
I'm like,
you're a lady.
You're a lady.
You could review this. Like I love that like sort of weird PR mentality where it's like, hey, you know what? You're not a dude. You could totally review it. It's pink. And they expect you to be like, oh my God, pink, thank you. This is my favorite.
It doesn't matter what's under the hood.
It doesn't matter that it's like running a single core processor. No, that means nothing. But no, I agree with you. I think this is really interesting that we're seeing devices, like a good example, the Note 3 is, the Note 3 is available in so many different colors, not just, hey, here's black, white, and pink. And then those are your options. Guys pick black or white, ladies pick pink or white or black. It's so I'm glad that they're kind of expanding this sort of color palettes of things.
I kind of want to see some more Ferrari red, because I feel like a Ferrari red moment.
There is a dearth of Ferrari red devices.
Yeah,
there is a dearth.
I found out the reason why LG and Samsung will never do a Ferrari red device ever, never.
Okay.
It means death in Korean culture.
That would do it. That would do it. That is a cultural difference that maybe can't be
overcome. So HTC has done their Ferrari red one.
And then
because
the
in
Chinese
culture it means prosperity.
Right. So the Chinese New Year are very red. Lots of you wear a red wedding dress in
exactly.
China. So Lumia. Did Lumia have a red?
I think they have a red one.
I think a red Lumia was just announced this week. Like lots of. I'm just glad to see a lot of color, finally. I mean, the thing is anybody else just super bored with black slabs? Like, I just see them and I'm just like, oh, yawn.
No, that's why everyone was getting so excited about white.
Yeah.
Oh my God, white! White!
Yeah, I know. It's very exciting.
Logistically, this is terrible. This is the worst color we could want for a device.
Well,
it gets dirty.
It's no color. It's
no color.
It's the absence.
It's the absence of color.
Of color. And so, I mean, the thing is okay, that's great. It looks really nice when, you know what though? You know who does a really good white phone is Nokia, because they have that polycarbonate, and if it scratches or anything, it's good. You don't really see the dings or it doesn't get filthy like some phones.
I had a white Lumia 920, and I dropped it from shoulder height, and it fell vertical.
I can't even think about this.
It's
upsetting.
Bowed. It just bowed, and then I just really was like
crushed it back in,
and it was totally fine.
I want to tell 100%. You, Nicole. Okay, today she has slammed a door, and now she's telling me she was able to crush her Nokia Lumia 920 back into position. I am pretty sure this girl only lives off of spinach. I will never get in a fight with you, ever.
My obsession with push-ups.
Yeah, totally. Go get use the arm curls.
Arm
curls all the time. While you're writing an article, you write one article with left hand, arm curls.
Well, it's all those ultra thins, and they're telling me you can carry this around. I'm like, sure I can.
Yeah,
this is totally portable as a tablet. Phones. It works.
It works. I gotta say, it was a little heavy, but the Asus Book Trio.
Yeah,
did you see that?
It's really nice.
Really nice.
Really
cool.
nice.
I don't use Windows. I have it for gaming. Like I have a desktop PC for gaming. I play Diablo 3. I have a problem.
Yeah.
But I have a sad addiction to Diablo 3. But I have it for gaming, but then I use my MacBook to edit, and so to be able to see something like that, where it's like you have an Android tablet, and then the dock has Windows inside it, and you can plug it into any monitor.
Yeah.
That's great. Like I love the idea of this like portable desktop OS is really appealing to me.
It's just a little pricey for my liking.
It's a little out there.
Did you check out the Infinity, the ZenBook Infinity?
I haven't seen the ZenBook.
Oh,
Was it really nice?
it is so beautiful.
I feel like I've missed like about 85% of the show because it's so big.
Oh, they had it at the Intel booth, and I saw it. The way the light hits the back,
I just love the idea of seeing like the light come down, and she's just drawn. And that's where you turned into the 16-year-old kid, where you were like yes,
zoom.
like I just can't see anything
and then
else.
they
I
had,
need to get to that.
and then they
ZenBook.
had a Gear 4 demo on it. So it was, and it's like the smoke effect, and the guy's like, I really can't drive. I'm like, keep crashing into shit.
Fine, crash. Yeah,
Seriously, like the smoke and the fire, and you're like,
you can make
just
that car
go,
explode,
just
I
do
encourage
it,
you to do so.
Please do it. Right. So this one actually has the Intel Iris graphics.
Oh.
So it's like the super high end,
So
and it's
good.
like so crazy thin. Actually, my sister was trying to get me one before I left, but it's impossible. It's just anyway. So I think that might be my next one.
Does it sound insane that I really am into the 20-inch 4K tablet over at Panasonic?
Panasonic.
Like I'm really into that. I went and saw it today, and I was just like, I could do that. Like I'd figure out how to use it.
Like,
I would
one use
find
case.
something to do with
One
it.
use case besides your bathroom.
Obviously, for like photo galleries, it's just like take it with me to like family reunions. Be like, let me just show you our photo album. Whomp, like, and just throw it down on a table. So I've been very obsessed with 4K TVs, like here at the show. Ultra HD is, I love a good television. It's like one of my it's not even a guilty pleasure. I don't even feel bad about it. I love really nice televisions. So to see a lot of the Ultra HD, I've been mentioning it on Twitter. A whole bunch of people are like, yeah, but there's no content for it. And I'm like, run demo mode. Like, I've never watched TV again. Like, just throw the demo on. Who cares? Just go for it.
Did you see at Showstoppers or PepCom, the Technicolor guys?
Yes.
We're upscaling HD.
Yeah.
Do you believe it?
Here's the thing. I mean, we have upscaling for HD. So,
do.
And it's not the best, but it's not the worst.
Like, I just think the pixels aren't there. So how are
They don't exist.
They
Right.
don't exist.
I think
so,
it's
like,
I don't know if it's more of an anti-aliasing. I'm not an upscaling expert,
no, me
so
neither.
I can't begin to imagine how they make that happen. But I mean, I've seen an upscaled television, and or like upscale DVD players, like they upscale them like halfway. I would imagine we're going to see like maybe like a 2K instead of it's not going to upscale the true 4K. It'll probably be just a little better than 1080. That's what I think anyway.
So, keeping on the content train, I have recently become enamored with Sony again. I've always kind of liked them, but their new
Interesting things happening over
their
there.
new mobile offering is tight.
Really good.
It's really good. Really good.
That C1 was, after that 16-year-old kid got out of my way, I did get to see it, and it was very nice.
Some guy accosted me by the fountain, and he's like, I'm the DJ at that booth over there, and you're going to be on the audio putting this phone into the water. I was like, well, it's not even a video, it's audio.
What is even happening
Right,
here?
so I'm trying to splash the water so he can
Up to you.
listen to it, and then it didn't turn back on.
Oh, see, you broke it. Look what you
No,
did.
it took about 3 minutes. I just stood there like,
You're like, wow, this is
this is really awkward.
Really awkward, everybody.
Really awkward right now. Okay, so one of the things that I've like kind of honed in on Sony whenever they talk about their content offering, they're the only ones, right? They're the only ones out of all the hardware who has the ability.
Well, they own a studio.
They own a studio.
It doesn't
Sony
hurt
Music.
when you own your own movie
They
studio,
own
music. I mean, that's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
I
for
didn't
content.
I didn't even put it together until I was at the Sony booth checking out the display, the head-mounted display.
Yeah.
That they're like, yeah, and everyone wants to take a picture because it's just like the Daft Punk album. I didn't even realize they were seeding product with,
Right.
with their music
With
labels.
their label,
with their labels,
with their artists, with
to
their
make it cool
yeah.
with the kids, and everyone wanted to be with it.
It's
So
not a bad thing, though.
It's not a bad. Not at all.
I don't like exclusivity. So if they were like, well, you can only get this here, then that's a little bit of a bummer. And I do have a bone to pick with the fact that Sony tends to have proprietary connections, proprietary memory cards. Like there's a lot of proprietary things involved with buying a Sony product. They're getting better.
But
it's
their
still
mobile
there.
lineup, yeah.
It's still there. Like the Vita, for example. So they dropped the price of the Vita a couple weeks ago, and you still got to buy that $80 memory stick, and
Dude,
it's just crazy.
Sasha was like, I can't find the cable for the Vita. You're going to the computer market. Just pick me one up. And I was like, are you sure?
And it's like
sure
$1
I've seen
million.
it. I got a knockoff one for 10. So it wasn't too bad. But like when I checked the price on...
You got a curved cable. But it's
Yeah,
like
$40.
$40.
It's like $40.
I mean, it's really expensive.
And I was like, I don't even want the power brick. I'm like, we'll figure it out with
just
all
need
the
the
gadgets
cable.
we have. We seen the cable.
Yeah. But yeah, so I've been a little burned by that, but I do like what they're doing with the QX100. I think that's cool. I have concerns about, I mean, anytime there's a first-gen product, it's sort of like, well, I'll wait and see. I'm just going to wait for the next one.
Well,
and I like that. I think it's neat. Yeah, see, I didn't get one.
Yeah, they gave them out of the presser, so I have a
very
QX10. I've been playing around with it quite a bit. It's creepy in that I don't know.
I'm gonna tell him you stole my voucher. I'd be like,
I didn't even pick up my press pass yet, so I actually just ran in and was
like,
and then lied about someone stealing my press pass.
Oh my God, you dirty liar!
Watch this, Sony.
No, you're just told a bunch of people on the internet that you lied to get a QX100.
And I snuck in boldface.
You should be ashamed of yourself. How do you say shame in German?
I'm not sure. All the guys say AFA. I think it means ape.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
So you've used it?
I have used it. I like the zoom. It looks really good. The pictures look really good. I like that you can tap to focus on the smartphone screen.
Do you think people are gonna buy this though? Not
at the price point now. No.
Yeah. See,
too
that's
expensive.
The thing for me is it's not consumer friendly enough yet. Like it needs to be a little bit cheaper, a little bit more portable. Because obviously the next gen is gonna be a little smaller, a little thinner, a little lighter. And then of course at some point they'll start getting larger, like we have with screens, and then we'll end up with DSLR. Just Canon lenses on our phone.
With a thin fold-out display.
Some insane, yeah. It won't be so much, Jerry, because I've seen crazy setups where people have iPhones and they have adapters where you can use full-on Canon lenses and stuff. That's crazy to me.
It is crazy.
So, but I almost wonder if Nikon and Canon aren't going to get into that game at some point. I had a conversation with Dan Seifert over at The Verge.
Okay.
We were talking about this last night, and I was like, I feel like Canon and Nikon are going to do this, and he's like, no, they're way too conservative.
That's
historically
true.
very conservative. They're no way. And by the time they do that, Sony is going to be just blazing past them. So
yeah, I mean, I went and talked to Canon today. I was just walking past them. I'm like, I've never stopped in the Canon booth. So I swung in.
I love going to Canon. Anytime there's a Canon booth at a show, I stop there. I'm a Canon.
I'm a huge Canon fan.
Loyalist, Canon loyalist.
I'm actually thinking about switching to Sony.
For mirrorless?
No, for video cameras. Video.
Get a 5D. What are you doing?
I like it's true.
5D. Gotta get the 5D. There's all the accessories. It's so great. It's full frame. It's fantastic. You would love it.
We've got the Nikon for taking video because we went and got some crazy lenses for it. I use that in the studio, but when I'm on the show floor, I just like the auto mode. I mean, just you want to go tight and you want to go and it's just a video
nice
camera.
about continuous autofocus.
Yeah.
During recording.
And then
I get it.
I mean, if we're not in studio and we can play with the exposure and we have time to be
to pretty
it up.
That makes sense.
We're quick and dirty on the show floor, and Canon's always been kind of good to me like that.
Yeah, that's okay. Fair enough.
But I stopped in and I was like, oh, I've never seen this before. And so I was walking through all of it and I talked to them about blogging gear. Just okay, what do you have for blogging gear? I mean, all I'm doing is going to the internet. And the thing is, I wouldn't mind having nice glass because as much as the optical zoom and all of everything.
It's all about the lens you use.
It's all about the glass, 100%. Right? So I mean, if you had some nice glass with something quick and easy, and they were like, no, we don't really, no.
Wow.
Well, they were like, we have
That's
these...
a niche that needs to be filled,
It's a
Canon.
niche.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Just wasting your time.
Sony and Samsung are pulling out with the Galaxy Cam.
They are definitely getting into that space a little bit more aggressively. I would say. Other thing is, I mean, at some point, cell phones are going to they're getting. I feel like saturation is just so, especially in the U.S. It's there's so much saturation of that. They need to find new markets, which is would explain the watch. The Galaxy camera. There's got to be new ways for them to make some money.
So let's talk about your next smartphone. You're going to get the new Apple 5S, you were saying?
I think I'm going to get the 5S.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of those like freaks who need to upgrade their phone all the time. So I came from Android, and it was really weird going from an Evo LTE to an iPhone. I do miss widgets. I miss widgets, but I will say this: like I realized I didn't use widgets as much as I thought I did. They just look nice. So I wasn't like using my clock widget I was actually just looking at the time at the top of the phone.
Right.
So I love apps though. So I have, she's seen my phone.
I saw her home screen. It's a little crazy.
Literally 16 folders filled with apps. It's insane. And I use all of them. I use all of them. So I am looking forward to the 5S. I don't care as much for the really big phones that we've been seeing, like the 6-inch phones. They're really nice and they look gorgeous, but I can't do it.
Sasha was like, so we live in Taipei, obviously everyone knows this, right? And the Note...
Wait, you live in Taipei?
I live in Taipei! And the Asian women love the big phone.
I was just telling somebody this. Because someone's like, I don't see anybody with the Note. I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell you right now, if you go anywhere in West LA, if you go into Little Tokyo West, all Notes. They're just everywhere. They just really like the large screen.
I love the large screen. It's the productivity thing, right?
It must be.
It's totally
really,
the productivity
they
thing.
Love it.
So Sasha was like, Nicole, you need to embrace your female side. I was like, okay.
I was like, gotta get a note.
Get a note. No, I got you a note. You're going to use this.
Wow.
I'm not going to use it. You're going to use the Note because I feel
Sasha's
like...
such a nice guy.
He's such a nice guy. He's like, you should really embrace your female side and blog about women using this phone. And I was just like, Sasha,
sure.
Okay, no problem.
Also, it's pink.
I wish it was pink. Maybe I would have had more of a draw to it. But I couldn't use it because
too much
where am
for
I
me.
going to put it?
Yeah.
All the guys were making fun of me because Vodafone gave me an Ascend Mate for the show.
It's
ginormous.
It's as tall as her head.
It's
literally.
It's true.
It could just cover your whole
My
face.
face.
It's crazy.
And so we ran off to cover something, and I was like, I need this phone. I don't have any pockets, so I tried to put it into my bra, and it wouldn't fit. And the guys were just like, oh my God, Nicole, you're blowing our minds right now. They were tweeting that.
Where else are you going to put a phone?
Exactly.
If you don't have pockets.
So then when I first got the Note, I was like, this is the perfect moment for me to go and buy a shitload of purses.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, all right then. Right. So my friend has an online shop, and I went over to her house, and I picked out all the ones, and she brought them over a week later, and I had like a dozen gorgeous purses.
I love
and
that.
They were
this
all
is like the biggest. And you know what I wanted to do after I got the Note? I wanted to perpetuate a stereotype, and I got a bunch of purses.
Well, because where was I going to put it?
Yeah, no,
where was I going to put it?
My iPhone goes in my back pocket. I always wear jeans, so it's like
I cracked the display. Wow. It's a $200 moment to fix
that.
Too much spinach. again.
And then you bow armed it, bow flexed it right back in.
It's true. So then I had to go buy the purses because I broke the phone.
Sense. Yeah,
right?
That makes sense.
Or either that or gain a bunch of weight so my back pockets are a lot bigger.
You have to get saggy Justin Bieber pants
or homie pants.
Homie pants where you can where they're literally 15 inches deep. You could put a MacBook back there. Just get that. Just throw it. You could chuck a phone. You could put a bunch of stuff in there.
It's a good thing I
put your yoga in there. Right in. Good. MacBook
it's a good thing
Air.
I just didn't decide to gain 20 pounds to try to fit my phone into my back
Seems like
pocket.
a really poor life decision.
It seems like a bad life
I'm going to gain a bunch of weight so I can fit a phone in my back pocket. No, you start wearing sport coats.
Or sport coats.
So, yeah, sport coats with an inside pocket.
So with all the new phones that you just saw at the show, you're definitely going to go back onto Android? You're not pulled into that moment of maybe you're not going to do that?
Okay, so I will admit that when I saw the Acer Liquid S2 of all phones, I was like, wow, it's a really nice phone. If I was going to get a 6-inch phone, that would probably be it. It's really nice.
4K.
It just
4K
looks
camera,
so good.
And then the quad LED flash on the back.
Ridiculous. I mean, just a ridiculous phone.
Ridiculous.
And so, nice to hold in the hand. And it's a really good device. So, I think that every major OS out there, okay, guys, everyone watching at home, I'm a WebOS forever, #WebOS forever. Like, that's me. Like, my first smartphone was a Palm Pre, so I'm a big WebOS. And I feel like every OS is sort of fed off the carcass of the body. Just really disappointing. But, you get glimpses of it, and then you get really sad. So in iOS 7 now, you have cards you can swipe up to get rid of your apps. So very WebOS-like. But yeah, I mean, the thing is my first smartphone after the Palm Pre was an Evo, the original Evo.
Okay.
And I love Android in terms of customization and being able, I mean, CyanogenMod is amazing. Like, the community of developers that have really been created around this operating system is great.
Yeah.
But then on that same note, like, man, people just aren't kidding when they say, well, the iPhone, it just works. And sometimes it's like having a cluttered office where it's like, if I have a bunch of papers everywhere, I know where they are, but sometimes I just need to get to something.
Yeah.
So it's like the difference between sort of that organized chaos, which I can be perfectly happy in, but then there's sometimes where I walk into my office and I'm like, God, I wish this was clean. Like,
Yeah.
I just wish I knew where everything was, like, right now. So it's kind of I go back and forth. So
Are you a two-phone user?
I used to be. I had an HTC. I had an Evo LTE, and then I had a One for a little while.
Yeah.
And God, that HTC One is a nice phone. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if I went back, it might be for a One. It was really nice. I did use a Lumia 925 for a while, and like, I gotta tell you, I actually really like that.
I really like Windows Phone. I actually just struck a deal.
I feel like it's the OS that's good that no one's using, and it's nice.
I really like it.
The thing is, though, is that I'm not a Windows user. Like, all of my stuff is not on a Windows machine, and so I feel like I don't get.
But there's really no, like, I'm a Windows user, but I never have any moments of connectivity between my computer and
I like
my
the
my
Xbox
phone.
Live integration. That's nice. Like, if only to just see my avatar from time to time. I'm like, look, there I am. Like, it's so dumb.
This is actually my first show in a year and a half where I haven't had Windows Phone as my second device.
That's surprising to me. I would have pegged you as a one Android device toting lady.
No, so I generally kind of carry two phones, but one's usually doesn't have a SIM card in it, and I tether to it just for fun.
Yeah, I
or
do
just
the same.
Something like that. So I'm actually an Asus Padphone Infinity is my
Nice.
my primary phone, and the HTC One. I've been on that a little bit just because I kind of like the camera and it's nice and thin.
The video highlights is the big thing.
The video
for me.
highlights is kind of fun.
I love video highlights.
And they
I don't
both
like
have-
Zoe's because they're hard to organize when you pull everything off.
and
of
it's
the
like a
disc.
million
Yeah,
photos,
yeah.
and you're just like, what am I doing here?
20
So
pictures
when,
per Zoe. I don't like
Who
that.
was it when Samsung was like, you have 61 photos? I'm like, that's a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't want to organize
That's a
that.
freaking
I don't want to
nightmare.
organize that. I want my phone to look at all the same picture and say,
This
the
one
best.
is the best one.
these two are pretty good. Pick
Yeah.
one. And then you just, like, your phone was saying, like, hey, do you want to just retake that?
Do you
Like,
wanna retake
I mean,
that?
it's just like, yeah,
Do you
hey,
want
look,
that?
somebody blinked, we should retake it. Like, BlackBerry 10 does that with time lapse, where you can sort of go back and see, like, when the best moment is. Like, that's
Funny. We have a BlackBerry 10 in the office, and
I
both
love that you immediately are like, a BlackBerry. It's hilarious.
hilarious.
Z10. Let's all go put on our cardigans. I love that you were right there, which is just great.
Well, I'm Canadian, so I just have this actually lamenting moment.
It is.
And I'm
it is-
it's super sad. We went
It's
from the
kind of a
top,
mess,
and then
right? It's a little bit of a mess.
Well, I mean, the moment where it all fell apart is a very Canadian moment. I like to look back on when they were like, "We're gonna do co-CEOs. We're so nice, we can't decide.
we can't pick.
We're just gonna
Yeah.
have two CEOs, just two of them."
and two CEOs who didn't want to change.
Yeah.
That was probably even worse. That was probably even worse.
Yeah, that didn't work out really well. So I mean, that was, and then everything just kind of they fell behind for
Torsten
a year.
is such a nice guy too. Like, I mean, I think that he really cares about the brand, but man, and he's really nice in person.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to Canada after IDF. And I'm going to swing by BlackBerry, but I don't think they're going to take a meeting with me because they're like, we have nothing new to talk about.
just keeping everybody out barbed wire at this point. Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe BBM on iPhone. Didn't they submit? I guess they submitted that to the App Store already.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if they're going to spin that off into its own business.
Own little
Very
business. I mean,
interesting.
licensing it off for business applications wouldn't be a bad idea.
But doesn't that feel kind of like a yard sale? Like everything must go.
What are they gonna?
Kind of like, hey, well, we better have a yard sale and get rid of the valuable stuff before it's not worth anything
So
anymore.
if you were in charge of BlackBerry, what would you do?
I'd just shut it down.
Shut it down.
I'd light the place on fire. No, I mean, the thing is I think that BlackBerry at this point has really, I mean, it's really hard to launch another major OS with its own ecosystem.
Yeah.
And I think this is why maybe we haven't seen a phone from Amazon yet with their own operating system.
And they are
Or why
working.
they haven't, right.
And they are working on one, yeah.
But they are, like now, they have, for the Kindle Fire, it's all Android architecture. It's it's basically a skin.
Yeah.
And I understand that to a pretty large extent in terms of like, it's so hard to get into the app game right now because as Windows Phone is discovering, it's a vicious cycle. Developers don't want to develop unless their users there, and users don't want to buy unless the apps are there. And so it's one of those weird kind of vicious cycles that you get sucked into, and I think BlackBerry just got pulled into the vortex. I think the Kraken just pulled the ship right down. Like, I mean, it's really tough, and it's extremely competitive, and I think that's actually one of the bigger reasons that Apple is able to, right now, the iPhone 5, I always tell people, like, Steve Jobs is absolutely right. It took 5 years for everybody to catch up to the iPhone, and now there are phones that easily surpass the iPhone in terms of capability, functionality, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But where Apple wins, and will continue to for right now, is app development. Like, there are so many solid apps that have been around for years at this point, and you can find a lot of them on Android and even some on Windows Phone, and that's great. But the thing is it's a huge advantage for them to have, and it gives them a little bit more time and leeway to sort of figure out what they want to do next.
So, what's up with WebOS? Is there any new news with that?
I think it's a goner. I mean,
So
I
actually,
think they took it out like old Yeller. They took it out back into LG was like, it's my dog paw, I'll do it. Like, they just took it out back and just gave it a shot to the face. I've heard that they are going to do, appliances with WebOS.
Yeah,
I don't think we'll see it on a phone or a tablet anytime soon.
I came across a listing in Taiwan. I should have actually sent it to you when I found it. A listing for a WebOS developer. So someone was hiring. I was like, what is this?
It's got to be for like I think that was the reason they licensed,
Yeah.
everything from HP was to develop for appliance or TVs. Like that was another thing. Like maybe we'll see WebOS TV at some point. Well, they were, I guess HP wanted to do that, but HP's printers are not that good anyway. So anything would be better than.
Well, aren't printers just really a dying game?
All printers are
this
actually
paper.
just terrible devices that should be destroyed immediately.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that it's 2013 and we still have to print things. It's not good. That can't be good. That cannot be good.
Yeah, when I had to print my IFA pass, I was like, oh my god, how do I get this?
Where do I find a printer? What's a printer?
I was like, where's the button that makes this happen? Where do I do that?
I had to cover with black duct tape the power button on my HP printer because it's so bright at night that it literally illuminates the room, and I'm like, and it takes 45 minutes to boot up, so you just got to leave it on. Like you can't ever turn it off. Otherwise, it has to calibrate the cartridges, which means it just uses all the ink. And then, you're out of ink. Sorry, guys. You printed 3 pages over the last 6 months, but now you need to spend another $40 on ink. Sorry.
All right, Ashley, we're out of time. We're out of time. And so it's been great to talk to you because I've missed you the entire show.
I haven't seen you since CES, so this has been really nice. And I got to give a hug to Sasha, which is always joyful. That man is just delightful. Like, I'm scared of you, but I love Sasha. He's great.
All right, so you can find Ashley at all of your places where you can find you?
Yeah, so I am at technobuffalo.com, so I'm their senior content producer. We do videos all week, and so you can see me in a lot of those. And then I'm on Twitter at Ashley Esqueda. You can follow TechnoBuffalo at TechnoBuffalo, and literally just type my name in, and I will show up on pretty much any social media platform. Google.com/+ Ashley Esqueda, Facebook.com/Ashley Esqueda. Like, it's all the places. I'm there.
And she's very entertaining to follow on Google Plus. I quite enjoy your stream.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really interactive with followers.
You
So
are.
I'm not one of those people who's just like, yeah, I have all that great social media and I never use it. I love social media. I'm totally a Twitter stalker. I like to stalk people that follow me. I'm like, oh, look at what do you do? Like,
What's going on here?
yeah, I like to just like live vicariously through people who have like crazy jobs and stuff.
It's always positive to work online and get your creep on.
Yeah.
It's kind of a
I
requirement.
consider that a win in the utmost sense of the word. That is
Yeah.
just literally the definition of winning. Going online, using the internet, getting your creep on.
All right.
So good.
All right, thanks,
Thanks.
Ashley. I think right now we're going to be checking out my trip to the Samsung booth where I walk around and show you everything that's there.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
No, it's not that. It's something else. It's a surprise.
You were just testing me.
Oh, the Kobo art. Okay, yeah. I didn't
Oh,
know.
I love the Kobo Wara. That's a good one.